Thanks for coming out. For those of you I don't know who might not be from Cincinnati, I'll say my name's Thane Maynard. I'm director here at the Cincinnati Zoo. That's ThaneMaynard. And of course today's a big day. Cincinnati's ready to see gorillas again. It's been a very difficult time, as you can imagine, with the loss of Harambe. But this community is a zoo community. We have heard from thousands of people from our region who are in support of the zoo, in support of our programs, and it's very touching. I can't go jogging, I can't go to the grocery store without people wanting to stop and talk about the gorillas in the zoo. So we appreciate all that support. But all that said, losing Harambe is just like losing a family member. People that work at zoos care about their animals very much. And so we are leaning on each other and sticking together. But of course it's time to move on and to see gorillas again here. Many people have asked how the gorillas are doing. The two females that lived with Harambe for a number of years are 20-year-olds. They were born in the same year. Chewy and Mara, they were chosen to live with him. They're savvy females who've been through a lot, and they were helping to usher him from being basically a teenager to an adult so he could eventually have his own troop and breed. But they're doing well. They're sleeping normally, eating normally, and come out part of the day. The 8 that are on exhibit right now are our big family group, and they're doing fine. Jomo's their big silverback. There are 3 offspring in there, and so folks today certainly will have fun seeing them in the exhibit. Another question we've gotten a lot about is the zoo's commitment to conservation. You know, what is the way forward for us? And we very much want to honor Harambe, and part of that honoring is continuing our support and direct involvement in West Africa, in the Republic of Congo. For 15 years, the Cincinnati Zoo has worked with the folks at the Wildlife Conservation Society, people in the government of the Republic of Congo, at Ndoke National Park, one of the wildest places in the world, and one of the great homes of lowland gorillas out in nature. We're going to redouble our efforts there, send our curator of primates, Ron Evans, there again, and continue that involvement. And some of that is to make sure that Harambe's death wasn't in vain. I imagine there are a few questions, and I'm happy to take a few. I'm not planning on talking a long time, but I do want to...
Talk about what's new here.
Sure. That's a good point. Sure. As you might have seen, we did put in a new barrier. We've also put in 3 surveillance cameras. The exhibit we had was safe. It was safe for 38 years. Over 43 million people came through this exhibit during that time. Every year it passed accreditation inspections through the AZA. It passed twice-a-year inspections from the USDA. But nonetheless, we felt a new, bigger barrier helps reinsure our visitors and guests and redoubles our effort to make sure that our animals are safe and that our visitors are as well. Sure. 2 questions. One was about the USDA investigation of the zoo, and that is something that is natural and expected in this situation. We're cooperating with them. You may know zoos are regulated in America by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, so we're working directly with their investigators and their veterinarians. In terms of a lawsuit that you had mentioned, that's put up through an animal rights group, and we will certainly face up to that as well. But we have a great program here at the zoo and a great gorilla program as well.
Hey, what do you think about the folks who say that, you know, even though the fencing has been approved, that it still was not high enough? We're getting a lot of that.
We work hard every day to make sure that the Cincinnati Zoo is completely safe for visitors, guests, families, and children. I think this whole incident, as well as all the publicity, reinforces the idea that, sure, parents and kids need to stick together when they're at the zoo, and also that we go around and check different exhibits, not just this one, and make sure that all of our barriers are up to speed. So it's perfectly safe.
Were there any other designs that were discussed? Did you discuss a higher barricade?
This fencing is what we have throughout most of the zoo, which is 42 inches high, substantial wood, as well as netting in between so no one goes through it. So it's more than adequate.
Are the old barriers that were here in any of the other exhibits
I'm not sure that we have those exact same ones, but I think you can imagine we've gone through the zoo, and everywhere that it needs to be bolstered, we are doing that. Sure. Sure. At the Cincinnati Zoo, we have 2 family groups of gorillas. One now is smaller. It has the 2 females who are 20-year-olds. They're still together, and they're doing fine. The other is our big family breeding group, and that has 8 gorillas in it. Jomo is our silverback male, and he's the dad of some of those. There are 3 youngsters in there. 2 are his, and one is Gladys, who is the famous gorilla that we adopted, who happens to be, I think, the half-sister of Harambe. So it's neat that story carries on here. She also came from Gladys Porter Zoo, which is where he came from.
Any talk of some sort of permanent memorial to Harambe? A statue, a big picture, anything of that sort?
You know, I'm not sure if we're going to do that, but certainly we are committed to honoring Harambe with the good work that we do here, the work here at the zoo, sharing the story of gorillas and what it takes to protect them in Africa, helping raise funds through all kinds of things such as cell phone recycling, and getting schools and families involved, as well as the important work that Ron Evans, our curator of primates, and others do, helping manage gorillas in captivity. Gorillas are one of the very best managed population of animals anywhere in the world in zoos. And that's important because they aren't taken out of the wild anymore to bring to zoos. That hasn't happened since the early 70s. So the need to make sure that we're very careful how we treat them is more important than ever. Sure. Yeah, over time, we'll grow our population and hopefully end up with another breeding group as well. But that'll take time, and it's not a thing people just say, oh, we're going to go get one. You might be able to do that with a zebra or something that's fairly common, but with gorillas, it's managed through a thing called the species survival plan. So over time, they look at which gorilla would fit best where. But over time, it's a dynamic thing of how many gorillas can fit where. The SSP will meet again in the fall, and they will certainly look at that, but they look at that not just at this zoo, but at the many dozens of zoos that have gorillas and how to best manage it.
Right, but you're allowed to make recommendations. Have you made any to have that discussion?
It's not really a make a recommendation thing as much as those scientists working together to say, all right, what's the best place to move different animals?
When you look back on this years from now, what are the lessons you're going to take away from it? What do you feel are the lessons learned from this? And now that you've had time to step back for a few days, can you try to put that into some perspective of what this has meant?
The question was, what lessons will we learn from this years from now? One is that Cincinnati is a zoo town. This town has really been overwhelming in its support for the zoo and for the work we're doing. Another is I never did like Facebook.
We have time for one more question.
And the other is that this zoo is really committed to the work that we do with the public in conservation education, in playing an important role in the families' lives of this area, and in working with endangered species as we do with lowland gorillas. Zoos can play a key role in everything from public education to protecting species in the wild.
Thing I was just curious, how many donations have you received since this incident occurred? You were talking about
Sure. Many people have written notes, supportive notes. Of the actual handwritten notes that I've seen, which are many hundreds, I only got one that was snarky and was mean-spirited. And a number of people have sent in checks to help be supportive of Harambe and the program that we do. In terms of a total, I don't know.
Thanks, Dan.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you for coming.